years into the pandemic now, and a lot of you continue to reach out to our Dr. Mallika Marshall with your coronavirus and vaccine questions as well. You want to get right into the questions?
Yes,
Let's
please.
do it. Our first question is from Debbie, who writes, my husband and I were exposed to COVID at a wake. He tested positive on a home test, but I tested negative. She has the same symptoms, doctor, and she wants to know how come her test came back negative.
Well, first of all, I would say if your home rapid test was negative, that you should test again in a few days because it can take some time for those tests to detect the virus. Otherwise, you could go somewhere and have a PCR test done, which, as we know, is more accurate. But I would say if your husband tested positive and you both have the same symptoms, chances are both of you have COVID, even if your COVID test initially was negative. So just keep testing. If it stays negative, then maybe you were lucky.
Back in January, my whole family had it. It took 6 days for me to finally test positive, even though I had the same symptoms.
Right, so that happens.
A faithful viewer writes in, I just went for my annual mammogram. They warned me that the booster is causing even more lymph node reactions than the original vaccine, and people are having to return for follow-up visits multiple times. I rescheduled, she says. Maybe you should remind viewers.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's do it now, because like others, I actually had more pain and swelling in my armpit after my boosters than after the original vaccines. We know that temporary lymph node swelling is completely normal. It's a normal side effect of the COVID vaccines and the boosters, but can lead to false positive readings on mammograms. So some experts recommend that women postpone their mammograms 4 to 6 weeks after their last COVID shot. However, in some cases, mammograms really shouldn't be delayed. So we advise women to talk to your doctor first before pushing off that mammogram.
Yeah, I was going to say that could be dangerous, putting it off too far, right? Eric says, I'm going to be flying to Florida next week to visit elderly parents and wearing an N95 mask. I like this question. Should I try to convince the person sitting next to me to wear a mask? I will have extras, or do I just deal with the anxiety? I can't wait to hear your answer on this one.
So I would do neither of those. I would not pester the person next to you, nor would I get anxious about it. I mean, I'm glad you're taking precautions to protect your elderly parents. But I think if you're wearing a high-quality N95 mask on the plane, you will be well protected. There are many of us, though, who still wear masks out in public, so it's really hard not to feel vulnerable about those who are maskless. I was on a plane just last week and felt the same way. But look, if you're vaccinated and boosted and you're wearing an N95 or a KN95 or a KF94 mask, then you should feel pretty safe around others.
Yeah, people are already pretty grumpy on an airplane. So if you turn to the person in the middle seat and says, hey, go put on a mask.
Can you put this on? I got extras.
Yes. Thank you, doctor. Appreciate it.